I love this genre of painting because I think it's, to me, I think of it as like the most true form of painting because it's so representational. That's something that's kind of lost in a lot of modern art. I think my earliest memory of wanting to pursue art was probably when I was like old enough to hold a paintbrush. It sounds really cliche. When I was in school, I was very interested in John Singer Sargent and also the old masters like Velázquez, and that sort of spurred me on to wanting to do portraiture. And then I had a look at lots of the UK art schools, but they were all very conceptual. Most of them wanted people to have a foundation. But it's quite a vocational thing to want to be a portrait painter. It's very specific. I didn't really want to do all of the, you know, the printmaking and the sort of ceramic side of things. I knew exactly like the specialism that I wanted. It's very intensive, and so in the first year it's drawing, so you're doing like cast drawings in charcoal for 3 hours in the morning, and then in the evenings or the afternoons you're doing 3 hours of life drawing in pencil. And so then after your first year you get to paint. That's when I started getting so into it. You're doing a model in the morning and a model in the afternoon, and you're just constantly painting, which is my dream. I just fell in love with it. I knew that I would fall in love with it. I work in oils, so I'm doing like limited palettes, so I use like vermilion and yellow ochre and raw umber, lead white, black. I think it's easier to get that old masters kind of look that's very neutral, and it's just not so modern, because I think in modern paintings there's a lot more colour, and I think the limited palette allows you to really just pay attention to the shapes and also the atmosphere of the painting. So you just get used to using not very many colours, and then as you get better you can kind of incorporate more in, and you're more aware of how to use them by then. The type of person who would have used to be in this position would have been like a white man, and so I always think that I love being a woman of colour and being behind the canvas is like I have control and I'm kind of subverting that genre, so I love that. So if you're doing a portrait, you'll have the person, and then directly beside it you'll have the canvas or the piece of paper, and you'll transfer all of the shapes directly across from the person. So you'll start with like the top of the head, bottom of the chin, and then you'll do line, shadow. So you'll do the outline, and then you'll go in and do the line of the shadow. So we call it the Van Dyck Z. So usually there's a shadow between someone's eyebrow and nose and under their nose, so it's sort of like a Z shape, so then that's kind of your crutch to hold on to, and then once you've come up with all those lines you fill it in. And it's sort of the most important part of the method is moving back from your work to see the overall shapes. Yeah, I think we end up walking upwards of 2 miles a day from doing this for like 3 hours. When I was at the beginning of my training, I'd kind of draw how I remembered lips would look or an eye or a nose, and then eventually started thinking about the person as more of an object with the light falling on it. Everyone says it's in the eyes. I think it really comes to life when you put the highlights in the eyes. I love being able to capture a character of someone, and that moment when you get it, it's just so satisfying to me. I think it's just such a specific skill, and you're kind of saving that era of painting, which is kind of what I'm all about, because this is a very old method that's sort of going out of fashion now, so bringing it back and kind of carrying on that lineage, I love. So since coming to Edinburgh, I entered the Scottish Portrait Awards, and I was lucky enough to win the Members' Choice Award, and from there was selected to paint Lady Dorian, which was a huge achievement, the biggest achievement of my career. So Lady Dorian is the Lord Justice Clerk of Scotland, and she's the first woman in this position, which is really exciting. And she's also, in the painting, she's asked to have this red scarf on, which is kind of a motif for her, because I think she got into trouble for wearing it in court when she first wore it. So then it's sort of a kind of aha. Here it is now, immortalised in my painting. I've been painting her for about a year now because of lockdown and coronavirus. So it's been a long time, but it's actually been a very relaxing process because there's been no deadlines and it's just been very chill. But it's also the biggest piece that I've ever tackled, which I love because I love painting big scale. The painting will be hung in the Faculty of Advocates Hall on the Royal Mile, which is really exciting because there are lots of Rayburns in that hall as well. So I just think that's crazy that my painting will be with such an incredible master of painting. I'm excited for the unveiling, and hopefully more opportunities will arise from that, and keep painting higher profile people so I can kind of get my name out there and carry on my career.